Yep.
Hey, we've got Glenn Flaherty from Board Games and Bourbon in here, and we're
Sorry.
talking spicy hot games. And one of those spicy hot games is a game I have played. Okay, so but I'm not even going to spoil it. I want to hear, Glenn.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Devir's The White Castle? A follow-up
now
to the
is
Red
this
Cathedral.
is this from my list of games?
This is from your list.
Okay, well, I must say you skipped my number one game that I've played the most this year.
Did.
Can you tell them what my most played game this year is?
Sky Towers. Guild Academies.
Keep trying.
Pull my finger.
That was my number one game I played this year. Okay, I bought White Castle because it was the follow-up to Red Cathedral. Okay, and
I don't like these pictures. I'm going to go to my picture if you don't mind.
Yeah, go to your pictures.
There we go. Yeah,
there you go.
That's how you take a picture, bro.
You know, and your mom is like, those are the best pictures ever.
She posted a comment about it. Oh, I think
BJ, you're so handsome.
I'm not sure about it was her.
So yeah, so I thought it was a pretty okay game. I thought I saw some comments saying like, is this like the ultimate Euro? No. But you know what? I'm not sure there is, of course, right? Because a big part of it, enjoying any game is it a new experience, right? And so, you know, it's like music too. You know, some people will be like, music's getting worse. Well, I would probably more say people are searching for new experiences. So that's kind of where music goes. And I think this was a new experience. It definitely has a decision point at every single turn in the game. I did not think the setup was too bad. And I thought the game lent itself beautifully to playing multiple times in a row. Because I thought the games themselves actually went pretty quickly. It's only 9 turns total, 3 per round per player. And when you play solo, I think you're playing as 2 people. The AI and the solo is just flipping a card. Super easy to do. I certainly have not mastered it. But I did like it for leaving it out on a table and playing it multiple times in a row. So definitely gets a thumbs up for me. I'm glad it's in my collection as a whole. I do enjoy the Devir games because whether it's dead on or not with my personal, enjoyments and proclivities, let's say, the development and everything really does go thoroughly through it to make sure everything is top notch. And this is so much game for $40. I think the MSRP is $40. You can probably get it online for $32. That's a ton of game, man. That's a ton of game.
And it's a small box, same size as Red Cathedral or Bamboo or any of those small box games. And then you start pulling all the components, Steve, and it's amazing. You get these little bridges, and that's to me kind of the hook of the game. We've seen games where you can, it's a typical worker placement in one fashion, and you're building out the locations. We've seen games like that right before, Steve, but the bridges, I think, are what makes the difference. You have to choose the dice based on the placement in the bridges, and every choice you make slides those dice to give other people the choice to pick those dice. And I like games like that where you're really agonizing over, am I going to take this certain number, but that's going to leave Verla something better, so.
There's have you played this before, White Castle?
I have once.
So there's a ramification in there too, where the first round affects the other rounds because
there's no copyright here, Evan. You're safe to say meeples. So we're okay.
Where you might want to die. First round, you might want to die and you take it off. But what happens from there is you have to look at what's left, because if you empty one of the bridges of the die that are on them, any individual die, that means the worker that you have in that location will not activate, because ultimately you end up putting workers around the bridges. Like in this picture, you see 2 orange workers by a bridge. If those 2 white dice are removed, those workers don't activate at the end of the round. So you might want to die. That's perfect. But if you don't take it, you can't activate your meeple, your sheeple, your Anna meeple weeple. And, then you're out on a limb, so that's kind of cool. It's a mathy game. That theme, whatever that theme is, goes right out the window as start playing, though. I don't know what it is. I still don't know what it's about, but as soon as I was like trying to do the math of the whole thing, the theme goes right out the window. So
yeah, I got to be honest. I didn't quite get the theme, but that's, I
Like,
love
yeah,
when a game is thematic, but it doesn't
Right.
have to be,
So I was just talking about, I hope I don't put you on too many tangents, and I hope I'm not too much of a chatty Cathy here, but okay, I was reading a review, and I think it was one of the games I helped publish, and it was like, or maybe it wasn't, but it said when, oh, you know what it said? It wasn't
I
a game.
saw your comment, by the way.
Right,
I was
and it
talking
said,
about this last night on Twitch, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, and it was whatever game I was reading about. I think it was the game I was interested in getting, and it said if you can get past the fact that the theme is pasted on. I was like, dude, I mean, like, okay, maybe, but come on. I mean, like, you get all these games. I know they have themes. I understand some more than others, but all games boil down to numbers, pushing cubes, resource, swapping. So at what point, I will ask the panel, say ye, at what point does a game's design make you not say, okay, this theme is pasted on, or would say like this theme is not pasted on? What would trigger that reaction in you?
Verla? When is the theme just, it doesn't really matter at some point, right?
Like, what's an example of a game you've played where you're like, boy, that theme integrates perfectly?
I mean, I have got a couple of examples, and surprisingly, they are heavy euros. A game like Tricarion, which looks on the surface like a blob of paint and just a bunch of stuff. If you play the game enough, you start recognizing that I'm building up these little tricks, and I'm trying to present them, and maybe to do the best tricks, like in the Prestige, maybe I'm going to go to the dark side to get those tricks done.
And then, like, if you pull off that combo, a bunny appears out of the box.
Exactly. No, that's not going to happen. But you know what? I do get the sense of getting some magician things going. I played Neotopia, and Neotopia has some kind of futuristic city building, blah blah blah. It didn't matter. It's just a bunch of colors,
Right.
So, but the game is still fun. I don't always need the theme to be there.
I don't think having fun and theme are necessarily related at all. But I almost feel like, and maybe it's now because I help design and develop games, I feel like I'm seeing through the matrix, like past the pictures to the math behind it. And that's all I really see going on.
Oh, Newman's got a good one. Distilled. There is some thematic sense there, I think.
Well, I got to tell you, as much as I like distilled, I am into bourbon. And so I'm like, you cannot put this into a kettle and come out with either bourbon or vodka. That is not how it works.
It's true. It took some license.
All these are abstractions. Every game is abstract at its basic level. It's an abstraction of something.
Well,
it either tries to have some kind of theme to it that is evocative, but I think you cannot have it because a game is not a simulation. It's not trying to perfectly capture what was going on. So I do think that at the basic level, there are mechanics and every theme is somewhat painted on. It's just that some painters are better than others.
I like what Timey said, but I'm gonna twist it just a little bit because I heard somebody say this the other day and it struck with me. What Tommy's saying, when what you're doing as an action makes you feel or think you're actually doing the thing it represents. And I get what he's saying. If you tweak it just a bit, when what you're doing as an action reminds you of what you're doing as part of that action, that to me makes thematic sense. So when in a push your luck game, the shuffling of something reminds you of stirring up a pot and pulling something out, that's where it's like, okay, the mechanic makes sense. In fact, I don't even have to look at the rule book. I know that at this stage of the game, I have to do that. That's where I like when theme, the theme of a game ties in with mechanics, because each little step, so with Lisboa, when you're pulling cubes off the corners in Lisboa, it could be just an abstract pulling of the cubes, but in your mind that you're taking off fire, you're taking off water, you're taking off this rubble, and you're making things cheaper to build after that once it's done. That makes thematic sense to me, Well, of course, if you clean the city up, it's going to be cheaper for other players to go there.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Some are integrated better. Like I will say, like I think
give me thematic fidelity or get out of town.
What is that? Not Tuscany. What's it called? That wine
viticulture.
Viticulture. That to me is like whenever I've gone to a vineyard, like, oh, okay, they're going to have the wedding pavilion over here, or you're going to till the land and take that out, that kind of thing. And, so that, not a winery. Yeah. But a vineyard. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I thought that tied in very well, but anyway, I just thought that was a great question. Like at what point does it make you think, okay, this is not pasted on, even though, yes, I guess if you really look at the nitty gritty, everything, of course, is pasted on. No one is going to be like, oh my goodness, I just pushed my cube up here. Now I know how to make wine,